going on, people? Today I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of the highlights for Kingdom 662 Wonder Battles. This is actually like a three-way affair, and I migrated over to have some fun and see how L0F would stack up in a Wonder Battles, because L0F didn't really have rally leads to combat all the champion people that were in the kingdom. So I figured, well, this is going to be a good experience, not only for myself but also for L0F as a guild, and see what their T5 count is looking like, their sigils and stuff like that. So it was a great Wonder Battles. It was a lot of fun. There was a couple of different sides. So of course L0F, but we didn't really have any ally guilds or anything like that, so it was just us. For the most part, we were just there to have some fun and see how it would go. Then you had SA and TSB. There were two guilds that were in their own side, and then you had UD on the other side as well. So it was like a three-way. On that one, I don't really know what they sent. They were using blight rings, which is interesting, and I thought I was in that fort, but yeah, I was looking for the report, didn't see a report, so I was like, oh crap, I don't know if he even changed gear on that one. So we were hit out. But it was okay, because we weren't really looking to lock forts. There were a couple times that the timers got down to where we thought, okay, well, maybe we will be able to lock it. But generally speaking, that wasn't really our goal. So, of course, we were able to go ahead and get some of these forts down. But what ended up happening was, since, of course, it was a three-way, and then some of those guilds also had a double, we started running into doubles and triple rallies on a fort in order to lock it, and at the end of the day it probably wasn't really worth. So yeah, we did have Broombang come in and join in on the fun. Broombang, better known as Wico, joined in for a little bit, probably like an hour or two, which allowed us to actually defend pretty well against doubles and triples. But Wico is not like full Astrolite or anything like that. He's got a couple of pieces that are pretty high, but not really like max or anything like that. And at the end of the day, we still had to go up against doubles and triples, and we were actually doing fairly well on that. We also had some help from a couple of guilds as well. We did have a couple of members from CAE come in. Also, LJS and AB had a couple of members as well. So we did have a couple of guilds that sent us a few members to help us fill. But at the end of the day, we were still going up against a side that had two rallies and then another side. So it was gonna always be a little rough to lock any forts when you're going up against 2 or 3 rallies at once just to lock a fort on your side. But we were still doing fairly well. We were taking doubles, sometimes even triples, when Wico was in here, which was very, very interesting, especially the formations. I know that a lot of people want to see like what's 4-4-2 strong against, 4-2-4, and the variations that you can see a lot of, like 9-9-2, the 208s. Or a lot of people might not even know exactly what it all even means. So maybe we'll start like a video series of going over each formation and what you'd want to actually run against it, and what's it strong against, etc. Because I know that a lot of people want that kind of information. But yeah, as you can tell, there's just a couple of seconds in between rallies, and we're taking them fairly well. But they are using Blackwing as well, and it's like, really, Blackwing? Are you serious? But it's okay, because we were able to get some Blackwing in for us as well. But yeah, I was gonna go ahead and try to replace my troops, and funnily enough, after this, I for sure needed to retrain my troops, because my T4 were looking a little bit painful. They were also not really filling some of those rallies, so it was kind of interesting, because sometimes you would fill, sometimes they wouldn't, and I thought that eventually TSB and an SA would actually merge. But I mean, this is what we were going up against when we were trying to lock forts. So it was 3 rallies at once. They were running Blackwing, so we figured this is probably not going to be worth trying to lock these forts anyway, because it is what it is. It doesn't matter. But yeah, they started timing, and yeah, I'm trying to go as fast as I can to refresh the troops that are in there. But when you only have a couple of seconds, it's kind of rough, especially if you have to pull back. So fair play. It's really rough to take two, especially with now people running like the 208 and 055 variants and stuff like that. And then some people even were saying that we were using rain bots. Like, what what do you think this was, a Baron? Come on, man. Rain bots? No. It was funny to see though. It was like, come on, rain bots? Rain bots. But either way, Wiko did have to leave after, like I mentioned, after 2 hours or so. So we were back to just seeing how we can go about this and what kind of fun we can have. There's a couple of things that I wanted to show. Like, for instance, this rally right here, they went on a range phalanx, and I believe it was like a 442 versus a 442. But if you're going up against a 442 and you're sending 442 yourself, you want to go ahead and go to an infantry phalanx, which the enemy did, and that's why we ended up losing on that one, because I mean, it just makes sense. If you're running 442 and they have an in front compared to your range front, well, you're just going to lose. So these are the type of things that you have to keep in mind when running Wonder Battles, knowing the comp that you're hitting, knowing the comp that you're sending, and things of that nature, because it will make a difference. So yeah, this is where I was kind of looking at it, and I was like, the comps seemed fairly the same, but it was the formation that really messed us up there. Now, of course, UD and TSB were still going at it as well, just because, like I mentioned, it was a kind of a three-way. So we were kind of trying to see where we can get some rallies in. A lot of it was this right here, sending in rallies right after they would hit, just to see if we can catch them off guard. But take a look at this. Look at that. Oh, imagine if that was black winged. Oh my goodness. And we weren't even full on that one. Oh, that would have been glorious. We actually had a couple of people that that sped up the timers and stuff, and those are the teachable moments that I kind of wanted to go over, because even if you have a lot of people that have experience, then you have people that are like speeding in timers and stuff, and it's like, no, you don't want to do that. But I gotta say, big shout outs to L0F. Even though we had a couple of fillers from other guilds, it was no more than like 2 or 3 max, and we had a decent T5 count and sigil count. Now, I think sigils is for sure the next thing that we have to work on, but considering that L0F is a guild that's still up and coming, man, that was a really good showing. Now, Grotesco's going to go in here to hit this fort, but now what they were doing was they were waiting for us to hit their fort, and then their second rally was smashing right into us after we hit. So again, it's one of those things that it's like, we were probably never really gonna lock a fort, because we were just going up against 3 guilds that would try to hit us whenever we would try to do it. So it was always going to be a little rough. But at the end of the day, it was really good experience. I got to try out a couple of different formations that I generally haven't used yet. Like for this one, it was a 4-2-4, and I thought maybe if I go cavalry phalanx here, it would be a little bit better, because 4-2-4 is notorious. If you go range on range, is notorious depending on who gets targeted, either your infantry or their cav. And it was actually super close. We both went cavalry phalanx, but I think when I actually take a look at it, they weren't full. But I think the main reason we actually lost, if you take a look at it here, I think they had a bit more range, meaning that my cav died a little bit quicker, and also the stat difference. I believe he has close to full stars, so there is also that difference. And again, the sigils, I'm pretty sure they were probably 100%, and at this point, I think we were only at like 40 or 50% or somewhere along those lines. So that's a big blow, because you're missing about 50% stats on that one. So, but considering L0F is still only like an 80 billion guild, it's very impressive. Now we had LeBron LA sending a march here, and at this point Wiko is still actually here, and I think I got in there just in time, like literally just in time. And of course they're still black winging us, and it's like, I don't know if they were just like, we're gonna try to take them out just by using black wings, or what it was that they were trying to do. But it's like, damn man, if we're having a fun WoW, what's up with all the Black Wings. But it is what it is. They had a plan, and this is actually it comes into play later on because they were really trying to use a bunch of Black Wings on us, whereas UD did not do that. So I was like, okay, we will keep that in mind. So LeBron went ahead and sent another march here. And when you're running 3 cups, the kind of marches that you can send is very limited for you. So something that you gotta keep in mind when somebody's rallying you that runs 3 cups. So we were able to take that one as well. But again, now we have UD and TSB both sending in a march. So it's just like, man, at some point, I told him you probably should just pull because we're not going to be able to do much. There goes the second rally, and we have 2 million troops. And here comes the third one. And it's like, yeah, trying to hold. It's just probably not going to work. I'm surprised that we didn't get capped on that one because it was a lot. Now, I was actually in the base at this point, and TSB, Burning It Down, had rallied me like 7 straight times, and they canceled each time. I think they were trying to send a blast, either 055 or 208, and I kept changing the comp. 442, they seem to always cancel. So I'm thinking that they were probably trying to send like a 208, and they just noticed that I was going heavy range there. And then when they would reset, I would change the formation. So, you know, it was one of those. But take a look at this hits here. As you can see, UD is for sure not even close to filling. And look at that last hit. It's just like, man, it's freaking rough. It's just rough. But again, it was a really fun experience considering the odds were really against us. Just 3 guilds. Just making sure that we did not keep anything. And as you see here, we have a super heavy Inf march, so I decided to just pull the base on that because again I had a 442, and when you have basically half your rally be infantry, I was for sure gonna lose that one more than likely. So to avoid more Black Wings and stuff like that, I just decided to go ahead and pull. Sometimes, you know, as a rally lead, it's always best to know when you should and shouldn't pull from a fort, because sometimes that is the best thing to do, or the smartest thing to do, because if you know that you're going to lose, it's probably not the greatest thing. So here we go, Burning It Down is sending a march, and this time I was at Frozen Fort, and I'm taking a look at his gear. Pretty decent gear, to be fair, and I'm going to take it again in Cavalry Phalanx, because I just don't trust 4-4 variants on range Phalanx. It's really depends a lot on who gets targeted first and whatnot. And now when you take a look at this one, they actually went range wedge, which is interesting. It actually counters my cavalry phalanx fairly well. So as you can tell, my cavalry just got eaten up really quick. And even though that definitely counters my front line, it was still super close. So I think if I go range phalanx on that one, I probably win. But again, the timers were 30 minutes at this point, so it was like, it's not really that big a deal. So yeah, take a look at that. My cavalry got hit, whereas it was their cavalry in range that took the brunt of it. Now on here, I actually had 71% sigils on this one, so it was a little better than before, because I mentioned we were only getting like 50%. And LeBron LA was the one rallying me this go around. So, of course, guess what? This time they go range phalanx. And I think, again, if they go range wedge, they probably win that one. So, something to keep in mind. But then again, they swapped out rally leads. And now it's McJesus rallying me. And he's sending a 4-4-2 variant, which is not what I was expecting. I was in a range wedge. So I tried to change, but unfortunately, I don't think I changed in time. But I don't know if that was the gear he really hit me with, or what ended up happening there. But yeah, range wedge was for sure not what I wanted to have on that one. And they black winged us again. So it was like, okay, so now they're really making it personal in this case, because like, really remember, this will come back. Now on this one, I had 80% sigils, so we were kind of picking up sigils here at the end, and I was rallying Bright Fort, and this was going to be like a 208. So I was trying out a couple of different formations and things like that, and the 208 was one that I wanted to try out. As you can tell, my informs were full, and I had not realized, so I was like, oops. But still, did fairly well. If that would have been a Blackwing, it would have been really, really nice. But unfortunately, I had to do a couple of things beforehand because we weren't set up properly. So that was really the unfortunate thing. So that I could have Blackwinged that one. Now, I went ahead and went to Lunar, and this time I was able to activate my Blackwing because everything was smooth, everything was, we were filled and all of that. And now I was able to switch over to the 208 once again and go ahead and hit them out also. Now, this one, the carpets weren't really as fast as I would have wanted, which gave them time to change to our range wedge. And they were not full, so they got let's just say 1.6 dead on that one. I don't know. I guess he thought that maybe he could take it in a range wedge. I think if they were full, it would have been closer. But 208 is for sure a rally you want to take in a range wedge. Now, while all of this stuff was going on, the base did lock because we just didn't care about actually locking anything down. And UD actually started getting some really strong people, like Max Astrolite people. And because SA and TSB were Blackwinging us, what we did is, instead of trying to fight against the Max Astrolite people, what we decided is, okay, well, if UD is going to try to lock in the forts, we'll just rally the forts and we'll hit SA and TSB out if they take it over. So essentially, those Blackwings, etc., that they used against us made us go, okay, well, I guess if UD is the one that's going to try to lock all the forts, we'll end up helping them. So in the end, it came back to bite them. But either way, it was a really fun WoW. L0F was amazing. Really proud of these guys. And UD, TSB, and SA, really, really good Wonder Battles. L0F is recruiting, so hit us up. And until later, bye.